looks a little bit like Dukakis. What's your name? Adam? Adam what? What, sorry? Adam Rosenstein, name to remember. Nice to meet you.
Now, finally, I'll say we're all very familiar with the way Mr. Colbert does interviews, and I'm not...
I hope you're going to bring it today. Nail me.
I will just say I'm not sure if it was, an honor to get to interview you or a punishment, but as
I'm a pussycat.
As we're both, youngest children, I think I'm ready to be teased, should you choose to do so. I'm excited to interview you, and I'm ready to begin the interview. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Could we turn the temperature up in the room a little bit? Actually, I'm retaining some of my water. Go ahead. Hit me. Go after me, Dad. Tear me a new one. Make me wish I didn't come.
These are, questions of a serious political nature at some
That's
times.
what I'm best at.
Mr. Colbert, your background is in entertainment.
Mm-hmm. And my foreground. Go ahead.
But your platform for news is on Comedy Central.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you serve as the primary source of news, and not just fake news, but real news for many Americans, and especially college students.
Mm-hmm.
How do you perceive your role as a comedian and as a newsman in affecting thought and policy?
I don't perceive my role as a newsman at all. I'm a comedian from stem to stern. You can cut me open and count the rings of jokes. If people learn something about the news by watching the show, that is incidental to my goal. I want to, and it is hilarious to me that you think that's a joke. Because both John and I are using the news as fodder for our jokes. It makes us laugh. And so we tell jokes about it. And to do the setups, you need to know what the hell I'm talking about. And so I have to educate you a little bit. But generally speaking, we'd rather have, not rather, anybody can watch the show, I'd love people to watch it, but it's better to watch the show and already know about the news. You also not only will understand the joke that I'm doing, but half the joke I'm doing is to get Marshall McLuhan on your ass, is to be about the medium, not just the message. And so if you understand the style in which I'm doing it, not just the joke that I'm telling, then you get a little extra, it's a little extra bonus. And we work very hard on the style side, too. So if you get the news first and come to me, you'll enjoy the show more. Please don't look to me for information, because sometimes I lie. We're backstage sometimes. Before we're at the show, we write the show all day long, and sometimes like a couple days go into a show, and there's this, the clock is just this demon on the wall that is just ticking away till 5:15 when I have to be down in the studio. And then we rehearse the show, and then we have on a good night, about a half an hour to rewrite the show. You have to rewrite 22 minutes in a half an hour, and that's a real challenge. And you have to be brutal with your own writing, with other people's writing, and ideas are flying, and you have to keep considerations of how much does the audience understand, and how much are you informing them, and are you going to sounding didactic, and is this still a joke, or is this just being self-righteous? And there are times when Alison Silverman, who's one of my head writers, is a real stickler for information, and she'll say, that's not technically the case, about something. She goes, what the Pentagon said was that while we do not support that goal, we support the attempt toward that goal. I'll go, put the damn joke down. We are not, no one is going to come after us, it is incumbent upon us to be funny, not necessarily to get it exactly right. Because, John's different. But John's different. John is far more accurate than I am. I can apologize the next night and say, we'll do the best we can. Because my character, it's more important about how he feels about the news than whether or not he's giving you anything that is real or not.
So,
what was the question?
Speaking of your character, why did you choose to have your character be so right-wing? And do you think he could have been as successful as you are, either in the middle or as a left-wing liberal?
No. Because there is, well, I very specifically was looking at, I'm very specifically talking about an aesthetic in the news, especially the nighttime news now, that is no longer the voice of God anchor, it's an avenging angel kind of anchor. And it's broken up into little fiefdoms of different people's shows, but it's all a cult of personality. And so a cult of personality requires megalomania. And megalomania requires this sort of monolithic tone and a shamelessness. And one thing that liberals aren't is unified, generally, in their thought. They're disparate, and they keep a lot of balls in the air, and something that the right does very well is that they maintain or at least they did until this recent election, maintain a consistent front. And so it's easier for me to be a larger-than-life megalomaniacal figure if I'm doing it passionately from the right, because, first of all, flags and crowds and a mob mentality goes better with the right than it does with the left. And you can't be in the middle because you can't really be passionately moderate. It's like wearing an extra medium. It doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean about...
Well, we're actually nonpartisan here at the Institute of Politics, so... no.
So you don't know. So until you graduate, you have no idea what I'm talking about. I actually knew what you meant, but...
Let me ask you a little bit about Better Know a District.
Mm-hmm.
This week I had the opportunity to ask several members of Congress, members-elect, do you know who Stephen Colbert is? And they all said yes. And then I said, would you go on his show? And I was shocked that I only asked 4 of them, and 3 of them said, oh yeah, I'd go on his show. Because, you know, I watched the new members of Congress interviews, and I've yet to see one where they come off very well. I know you're fond of, saying that everyone who appeared on new members of Congress was reelected or elected in the case of John Hall.
I'm not just fond of saying it, it's the truth.
But really, I mean, I think they're putting themselves on the spot. So let's say I'm Stephen Colbert, and you're a member of Congress.
Okay.
And I'm interviewing you.
Yes.
What would be your strategy to deal with me and my questions?
Oh, that's a good question. No, and I hope members of Congress watch this, too, because I only want a good interview. Answer honestly. I say to all my guests, every guest who comes on the show, I say the same thing to, and I would say to any member of Congress, which is, I'm playing a character. I'm an idiot. I'm willfully ignorant of the subject I talk about. Disabuse me of my ignorance. Don't let me get away with anything. Don't try to play my game. Be real. Be passionate. Hold your ideas. Give me resistance. Give me something. Give me traction I can work against. It's the friction between the reality or the truly held concerns of the person and the farcical concerns that I have, or my need to seem important as opposed to actually understanding what's true. Where that's that thermocline, that where those two things meet, where the comedy happens. So be real. That's the best thing you can do. And call me on my bullshit.
Does it often happen?
No. That's not true. That's not true. It happens about half the time. And then the other half of the time, we figure something else out.
Well, there could be potential, future members of Congress in this audience, so I hope they...
Right there. Are we going to turn around? Is the whole stage going to rotate slowly as we do this? So these people, you're very attractive. Yes.
Do you have like a...
I feel like doing physical comedy, doing stunts up here.
Go ahead.
Will you catch my legs?
Let me ask you, speaking of the new members...
Maybe later. Maybe later. Maybe later. We'll get it.
Okay.
We'll finish with it. Big
we
finish.
We should practice that.
We'll tease him with it.